Food chains and food webs. Living creatures cannot exist in isolation. They require a network of living and non living things to stay alive. Within this network, plants and animals must attain the energy they need to survive. But not every living creature draws from the same food source. The interconnected systems of food within the ecosystem are known as food chains and food webs. Food chains. Within an ecosystem, energy flows from one living being to another. It does this through the consumption of food. This energy network is known as a food chain. At the base of the food chain are the producers, also known as autotrophs or plants. Producers draw in raw energy from sunlight along with carbon dioxide and water to produce food. This usually happens through the process of photosynthesis. Some producers, though, use energy from chemicals along with carbon dioxide to generate food. Energy contained within producers is transferred to the next group in the food chain, consumers. Herbivores, consumers, whose diet consists of plants, dine on plant matter. They then transfer energy from it to these animals. Because they gain energy directly from producers, these animals are known as primary consumers. Not all consumers are herbivores. Still, all consumers are able to gain energy from producers indirectly. Consumers that eat herbivores are known as carnivores. When they eat these animals, they are able to benefit from the producer's energy. This second group of animals in the food chain is known as secondary consumers. When these carnivores eat other carnivores, they are called tertiary consumers. The energy flow within a food chain is completed when producers and consumers die and their energy becomes food for decomposers or fungi and bacteria. At death, they release their energy so that it can be used as fuel for their decomposers. Food webs. A single food chain in an ecosystem is not enough to support all of the life forms living in it. Several food chains that are interconnected are called food webs. Food webs allow for energy to flow between living things in more than one direction within an ecosystem. There are two different types of food webs. One is known as a grazing food web. This type of web includes plants and animals. Plants produce their own food through photosynthesis, and then animals consume plants and one another to share energy. The other form of food web is a detrital food web. It is dominated by decomposers that feed on the decaying bodies of plants and animals from grazing food webs. Grazing and detrital food webs are connected together so that they can provide energy to one another. For example, rotting vegetation from the grazing food web may serve as a food source for earthworms that are part of the detrital food web. In turn, the earthworms can be eaten by birds that are members of the grazing food web. In order for ecosystems to survive, they must contain several food chains that connect to form food webs. Through these intricate systems, energy transfers from living being to living being, allowing for members of the ecosystem to stay alive and for the ecosystem to thrive.